This time we are going to learn an advanced working method for French rending. Once you've mastered basic French rending, you must learn this advanced working method because this method makes this brilliant weave even more efficient and quick. It makes it more comfortable. It's just absolutely brilliant. Aside from regular French rending, we are also going to learn how to use the advanced method for mock Waling and double French rending. Aside from using on the siding of the basket, this advanced method can be used for bases, and unlike the siding, on bases you pretty much have to use the advanced working method. So what we learn here can also be applied to bases, and I have a lesson about this in my round bases course, so you can watch it. But you don't have to. Once you learn this lesson, you can actually apply what you learn into bases. The only difference is that in bases you begin from tip and finish with butts. We begin the advanced working method just like we begin the regular. Just like that. First, second weaver, get in. Now in the third, I could now make another move, but I think I'm not going to do this now. I'm not going to start piling here above the first one. I'm going to start piling here over the third one. Soon you'll see what I mean by that. So the fourth one enters, still not piling. Now this weaver is going to make 2 steps. 1, 2. And now I've started piling, as I like to call it here. I have a pile of 2, right? Now the next one is also making 1, 2 moves, and here I have another pile of 2, right? So now I will continue, and you'll see how it works. Now I'm making 3 moves, and I have a pile of 3 right here. Now the next one, weaves all the way up to here, and then I have 2 piles of 3, this and this. Now the thing about the thing is about this method that you always have, you have to have 2 sets piled up, one after the other. So I have a pile of 3 and then another pile of 3. It doesn't matter how many, it could be a pile of 2 and a pile of 2, it could be a pile of 4 and a pile of 4, but they have to come in pairs, 2 piles right after the other. Now I might feel that I have too many weavers here and I don't want to pile another one. It might be too much for this poor steak here. So I'm going to start a new pile now. I'm going to begin here. And I'm stopping here to start a new pile, as I like to call it. Alright, so I have 1 and 1. Now I continue. And now I'm piling, I have a pair here. And another pair. Simply going to continue like this. Alright, now a third one here. And as you can probably guess, we're going to pile another one for the second group. Right, as I say, they always come in pairs. You have to be extra careful here because the weavers are a bit too tough for the stakes here. You have to pay attention. Alright, and then, as I said, 2 piles of 3. Now I can continue, create piles of 4. The more you pile, the more the weavers are going to be concentrated into a smaller area. And the less you pile, the bigger the area of the weavers is going to be. But as you can see by now, the big advantage of this method is that I don't have weavers scattered all around. They are all organized in one area, and it makes life a lot easier. It makes everything easier, simpler, quicker, and once you understand this advanced working method, then most of the times you are going to use it. It doesn't really make sense to use the regular method. Now I have a pile of 4 here. I haven't really been fastening my work a lot, so I'm going to do this now when I finish this one. When you're working with a single one like this, it makes the work a lot quicker. Alright, now let's fasten our work. Alright, so I'm down to the last 2 here. As we know, the first one enters here beneath the first one that we weaved. Right? Can continue it. Now before I continue it, I'll just say that if you decide to pile upon the first 2, it's still the same. Everything works the same. Instead of entering underneath this single one, you're entering underneath the first pile, right? And then the second pile. So before I continue with this one, let's introduce the last weaver here. You should know how to do it by now. I'm not going to linger on it. Now we've introduced all of our weavers. Pile 2 here. Sorry about that noise. That is the noise of the weavers clashing against the camera. Alright, so now, just 1 minute. let's get the weavers wet. Weavers are spending some time out in the open air, and it's very hot here in Israel, so dries quickly. Alright, so before I continue, let's do some fastening. Nice. So now we'll take. Now what we should do? What should we do? Obviously, we're supposed to work with the weavers on the most right. So we're going to take this first one. There's no pile here. There's just two single ones. So the first one weave regularly. Then the second one will do the same thing. I got here, oh no, one break. I actually have a pile of 3 here. Alright, and another pile of 3. Now I have 2 piles of 3 here, and I should work with the if the number is the same. I have 2 piles of 3. The number is the same. Then I'm going to work with the right group. So I'm taking the bottom one, obviously, and working with this one. Now, before I continue with it, now I have 2 and 3. So now I have to work with the group of 3 because here I have 2. I have one more. So I'm taking the bottom one and working underneath everything, as you already know how to do. And this will be the next one to work. Let's finish this one first. After a while, it becomes a second nature. You shouldn't really think about how many you have in each pile and which one should work. You just know it intuitively. Weavers are quite dry at this point. Should get them wet. Alright. Get them nice and wet. And don't forget to fasten your work. I think it would be best to do it right on top of the stool and not on the rotating surface. But laziness, you know. So now I have 2 and 2, and you already know what to do, right? We're taking the bottom one of the right group, and this one works next. As we are working, one area of the basket is going to be taller than the rest, but this is okay. This will sort itself out eventually when we finish the full circle, the full rand. Now I have 1 and 2 here, so I'm working with the bottom one from this pair here underneath, and working all the way around. Alright, now I have two single ones, so the right one works first. Now, as you can see, I've started to leave them right one after the other because they're finished. They're all used up. Now this one. Now I wanted to work with this one. I kind of grabbed on it and started to work it, but then I saw that it will not alternate, right? So it's hard to get confused while doing it, because if you don't alternate, then you know you're working with the wrong weaver. No. In case you're wondering where I got this amazing thing that rotates here, then I got it from IKEA. Very, very cool thing, very helpful, makes life a lot easier. Oh, not this one. Alright. And we have finished our work. Maybe I have a little bit more length to actually shove them towards the inside. No, I'm going to trim like this. So before I trim, I think I'm going to fasten the work a little bit and then do the trimming. Now that we know the advanced working method, we are going to use it for mock whaling and for double French rending as well. Of course, it doesn't. Once we know that the method of work, it doesn't make sense to work in the regular simple rending section. So, suppose I'm doing mock whaling, I will begin, and I'm going to weave in the advanced method here as well. Now it depends, of course, whether I want to do just the one round or I want to make the whole section in mock whaling. But if I want to make just one round, the beginning round, so now after weaving this one, I'm going to continue weaving in front of one and behind one like this, and it makes perfect sense, right? Now I'm weaving this one and continuing over one and behind one. The first weave is over two, but then after that I'm just weaving regularly over one and behind one, like that. But here I think I'm actually going to do the whole section in mock Waling. So let's go back with these two. Now I'm going to make another weave with this one. Alright, so now this one is going to make another weave over two and behind one, and this one as well. Right, just like that. Now I have 3 pairs here, 1, 2, 3, and now I can continue just like that, and it makes the work much quicker, much simpler. Now I'm going to weave again and create 3 weavers here, a group of 3. Now if I find that the weavers are too long and they're brushing against the floor like that, I might put something underneath my lap-board at the other side, just to get it off the floor a little bit. Alright, so I found this square basket, and I put it there, and this should work perfectly. Too much weight in here. It's a little bit hard to work like that. All right. All right, now I can once again make another weaving move to create a group of 4 here, or I can start a new group right here. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm once again going to create 3 groups like we did in the beginning. I don't want to pile too many, one on top of the other. Alright, and now, as you can see, I have 3 single ones here, and now we're going to pile on top of them. But before I continue, let's do some wrapping here. In a regular French rending, we always make the piles in groups of 2, you might say. You will always have one pile and then another pile with the same number. Otherwise, the weave might not work out correctly, and it might be confusing. And here we have groups of 3. Alright, as you can see, I've already created groups of 4 here, except this one. Now this one's going to do a group of 4. Alright, so we have 3 groups of 4, and we can continue to make groups of 5. It doesn't really matter. Now let's see here. Let's 11, 12, 13. Alright, so this one will enter right here. Alright. Now we're doing the last one, so the first one of the 3 last ones enters underneath the first group. This is the first group, so entering underneath the first group. Let's continue. I think I'll start another pile here. I don't want to pile too many. Alright, now this one enters underneath the second group, you might call it, right here. Stop here, and the last one is going to go underneath that third group. Right, we have 3 groups of 3 in the beginning. The last one is going to go underneath the third group, if we can get it into there. Underneath everything. Like that, moving the weavers out of the way. Good. Alright, now we have those 3 groups at the beginning, 3 groups of 3. So we're going to grab the bottom one of the first group and work with that. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to grab the bottom one of the second group and work with that. And right here. Now the bottom one of the third group. And how do we know which one to work with? How do we not get confused? Well, I can see here that I have a group of 2, and a group of 3. So this means that I have to work with this group of 3 now. Alright, we finished our mock Waling section. I don't think I've fastened my work enough during the weaving, so it doesn't look perfect. but I'll do my best to wrap it now. When working with doubled weavers, I will of course also work in the advanced working method most of the times. Maybe sometimes I will have a reason to work in the regular method, but most of the times we will work in the advanced method. So we can just start like that with the two together and work in the advanced working method. But if we want to begin with just a one, so it will look like this, right? Beginning our weave. And now this one can make another move, so I'm adding the second one, and actually that one could already made another move, so I'm adding the second one here, working with them together, adding the second one, working together. Now I'm beginning with a single one and then adding the second one. Beginning with a single one, now adding the second one. I'm not gonna make another move now because I don't want too many weavers at one spot. But you pretty much get the point. Starting with one, then at the second step, adding the second one, not this one, the second one. Right, so now I've actually finished inserting the last one, and I've finished weaving it. So now we have those two first ones, which are singles. So this is the first one. I'm adding one to it before I'm weaving it, doubling it, and working with this pair now. And I will do the same thing for the last one. This now would be the last one. Alright. Great. Now I've doubled the last weaver, and all of my weavers are doubled. Now I just want to stop for a second and get everything wet, because weavers are very dry. Maybe like that. Alright, finished our section. Another important thing about working with doubled weavers is to make sure that they don't flip and switch sides, right? The bottom one has to stay the bottom and the top one has to stay the top one. Otherwise, it doesn't look very good. Alright, so now I think I might just wrap the work with my hands like that before I trim. Good. Now we'll trim on the inside.